somebody in the face of Putin. You need somebody in the face of China and how they deal with the economy. You need somebody in their face. You need somebody who is gonna. And you know what's crazy too? Did y'all hear about Trump's tariff idea? Oh my gosh, what a wonderful idea, right? If tariffs could be used to finance our space in the tax bracket, oh my gosh, bro. Could you imagine not paying the income tax because we already getting enough from tariffs? Holy cow, bro. So let's keep these things in mind, bro, because I'm hoping, going into Vance's campaign and what he does last thing, going to the Vance's campaign and what Trump would accomplish, I'm hoping that in my children's lifetime or even in our lifetimes, that the income tax will go away.
Well, I mean, I think.
Preach!
Yeah, that's great. And I think on the facts, right? Because the facts, anyone with the right mind, like the only real reason to vote for Kamala is if you really want abortions or support abortions. Like that's a great reason to vote for Kamala. I mean, there's like a couple other things factually that would be good reasons to vote for her that are all basically antithetical to Christ and Christians and conservatism. But I mean, the biggest one is if you want abortions, especially if you're a single issue voter, Kamala is your girl. You know she probably won't get it done because it's back to the states and trying to do that is going to be monumental. But you know she's going to work for that. I believe she will try to get more abortion access. So if you want to vote for her, that's one fact you could vote for her for. If you're anyone else, it's like, old people. There's no reason, especially if you're on a fixed income, you depend on Social Security. He said he's not going to tax Social Security. He's not going to tax tips. He's not going to tax all this other stuff. So if you're basically anyone, like he appeals to everyone in some degree that is significant. So besides just the energy independence and opening and stuff like that, a rising tide lifts all boats. It's a net benefit for everyone, even people who are still calling him literally Hitler. You're still being lifted up and you're benefiting. But specifically, each demographic has something good for them that he's proposing. Like, no income tax, that's great. So if it's not based on emotion and it's based on facts and policy, there's very few reasons to vote for Kamala. And of those few reasons, most of us think you're insane. But Michael, I do have to go really quickly. So what would you like to say? And if it's going to be about the comedian and the joke, I don't know if I have it in me. We've been talking about this for 2 hours. What's up, Michael? Welcome.
Hey, no, I think, I will say that I don't think people give offense, people take offense, and I stand by that. I mean, that's why, I think that, but I've never seen as much pearl clutching as I do by conservatives. But what I would say is, Nate, I guess, but I have to get it out in the form of a question. First of all, Nate, I love you as a brother, but you're delusional if you think Trump has a chance at the popular vote. But what I would like to know is what's close? What's close? Because I'm telling you right now, he's not going to get any closer than 5 to 8 million votes. He will lose the popular vote by a minimum of 5 and probably closer to 8 or 9 million votes. So what's close, Nate?
So, my delusional comment, first of all, I didn't say he would get it or whatever. I said I think there's a path to him getting it. That being said, I said or close. I think close would be within 2 million. So I think it is very reasonable. Some people
it will be 3 times. It will be 3 times that. He doesn't have a snowball's chance.
Okay, well, I guess it doesn't matter. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on. But I just think that's good for him to do things to appeal to people in New York and deep blue places. Not that he's going to win, but that he's going to get more of the vote there and rally more of the conservatives that do exist under rocks because they can't poke their heads out or they'll get hit. So I think that's why.
That's correct.
So I think that's why it's good he does that, because he's got a chance to get more of a popular vote than any Republican previously. And I think he already has, right? More than any Republican. Someone would need to check his records in the past 2 elections. But yeah, Michael. So that's what I mean. So I don't really think he's going to get the popular vote. I think there is a path to it, but I do really think by doing stuff like this, he could get within 2 million, and that would be pretty monumental.
Yeah, I think his only chance to it is think if Dems, for whatever reason, just don't vote, then he's got the chance. But he would win the popular vote on a lower number because Democrats didn't vote. Beyond that, he doesn't have a snowball's chance. And this is where I would have to agree with Chris. Like going to, like he should have been. There were 7 other places he should have been other than New York, because he's going to lose that state. Like he's going to get crushed in New York. It's going to be double digits. And it's not going to be 10%. It's not going to be 10 points. It's going to be crushing. It's going to be so bad his ego won't even be able to move.
Can I have your signature on that?
Yeah, he's going to get crushed in New York. The same way Biden, the same way Harris will get crushed in Texas.
So
Harris doesn't have a snowball's chance in Texas. And Biden and Trump doesn't have a snowball's chance in New York.
Well, maybe not Harris, but through legalese and shenanigans, I think Texas is probably going to flip purple and blue at some point in the next 15 years. But so in 2016, let's see, the popular vote, Trump almost 63 million and Hillary Clinton almost 66. So that's within 2.5 million votes right there. So he did what I'm thinking he could do for this. He already did it, so it already happened. But I think he can do it again. And
what was the popular in 2020?
It was 62,984,828 versus Hillary's 65,853,514.
No, 2020.
It's talking about Biden.
2020. Sorry, it was 74 to 81. So yeah, Biden crushed him on that. Not 10 points, but a lot closer than 2016. But remember, that's because Biden was going to be the one to heal all the division and unite everyone, and he was going to bring back common sense and lower the political rhetoric. And if he comes out yelling, screaming, telling how he's going to beat up Trump.
Nate, if you look at the total number of votes in that election and you look at the actual voter rolls and you actually voted yourself and you kind of did some basic statistical samplings, you will know that it is completely impossible for a population of 360 million or 330 million, whatever we are, to actually even vote those many times in this country. That is absolute voter roll fraud. These are ghost votes and automated votes, and Dominion Systems and Alex Soros and George Soros, they control and run the election system in this country.
Well, you've heard how already, right? This is undeniable. People are, Michael, so I was about to say before, try to protect your bro. Don't roll your eyes too hard just yet, because it's undeniable. People have already been arrested and indicted on election fraud, and it's already happened, right? So you can say how many cases, but there have already been in Pennsylvania, I think Lancaster County, there have been multiple actual gangs, criminal organized gangs, who have been falsely registering people to vote. They found hundreds and hundreds just in one case of voter registration people, all with the exact same handwriting. The same person did hundreds and hundreds of these, and they've already arrested them, charged them, and connected them to gang activity. So it's not even just political operatives or people that think they're friends with the Democrats or individual one-offs. You have organized crime who, I don't know how effective it's going to be, but to say it's not happening to a significant level is just factually wrong. Otherwise, you need to be an attorney or a witness and go tell the judge it didn't happen because they've been arrested and charged and connected to organized crime. So if that's happening in Pennsylvania, and I think, isn't Lancaster County fairly conservative? I don't know it well.
Lancaster is crazy conservative. I've actually spent time in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's very close to a town, and try to keep from falling off your chair. A little town called Intercourse, Pennsylvania, which is an Amish community, which is absolutely hysterical, and it is crushingly conservative. So, and the population of Lancaster, for there to be, I'm going to need a citation. Because for there to be hundreds upon hundreds, Lancaster is not that big a place. The single biggest employer in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, is an American boiler manufacturer called Burnham. They're the largest employer in Lancaster. And it's a small place. I'm sorry,
Michael?
Yeah, it doesn't pass the smoke.
And a lot of people
hold on. Sorry, Steph. I just got to address this because you said Lancaster. No one said Lancaster. Lancaster County. It's 556,000 population. So not Lancaster. Lancaster. I believe you. I don't know, but I believe it's a small town. We're talking Lancaster County. It's almost 600,000. Go ahead, Steph.
Oh, okay, cheerfully retracted. I thought you meant I thought you meant the town of Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Nope. Whenever it is. Go ahead, Steph. You want to
The popular vote question is interesting because I think that there has been a massive shift under the surface. And I know that when we talk about this, we immediately get accused of like January 6th Nazism or whatever. But I will tell you, I live in one of the bluest parts of New York. Like, we have a reputation for being horrifically bleeding blue. Like, it's not even close. You guys have heard my stories about like the town parade include like 50% of it is a pride parade, and that's just like what this town is known for. Okay, in this town we have everything that liberals would want. We have disbanded our police department. We have mandated masks and vaccines and vaccine cards and all of that. And the weird thing is, this is entirely anecdotal, okay, but on social media, in doctors' offices, at the PTA meeting, people are not happy with the way things are. They don't like Kamala. The other day, my husband took the kids to their annual pediatrician appointment, and he heard the nurses behind the desk talking about how they just can't vote for Kamala because they can't do it anymore. And like in the grocery store, you hear these whispers. I don't know. This is what I'm observing in a very blue area. I am not as afraid to say that I'm conservative as I was even 6 or 8 months ago. There's something happening. Right? And I'm sure I'm not the only person who's observed this. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with rhetoric. It has everything to do with economics, affordability of food, culture. Like, seriously, my town is still mandating masks. Like, this is a thing still happening here in 2024, right? It's enough. It's enough. People have had enough. So I completely agree with what Kevin said about throwing the interception, like 100%. But if you let that and what you're seeing on Twitter and people's responses and this Lincoln Project video about Trump speaking German and whatever else, and you want to continue wearing masks and paying $5 for a loaf of bread, something is wrong with you. We have seen what Kamala can do in the past 4 years, and we remember what gas prices were like 6 years ago. Something is wrong with people who are willing to continue doing that.
And the last thing, Michael, if you want an actual source, this is from 4 days ago, but it's talking about Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. If you just Google Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, games, fraud, the front page of Google, who is no friend of conservatism, will bring up tons of stuff. So the article I can find is from, let's see if I can get some of these sources. I think it's all over like CNN, MSNBC. It's the main ones who are no friend to conservatives. But I didn't find any indictments. The articles are from 4 days ago where it was beginning. But it says apparently 2,500 voter registrations are being investigated. So it's not even like 500 or whatever I originally said. But yeah, so I will happily try to keep looking for the source that talks about what happened since the 4 days. But yeah, guys, I gotta run.
It is interesting. The last thing that I'll say is that I do think that, places like California, New York, Oregon, Washington State, most of the Eastern Seaboard up near Maine and stuff like that is going to go blue. But I still think, in my gut, I still think that the swing states are going to go more in Trump's favor. And I think that not too long after November 5th, it's going to come out. I think Trump is going to win. I actually think Trump is going to win.
I really gotta run, but I think
I want to be wrong so hard, but that's what I'm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as optimistic as you. I think, since nothing significant was done in 2020, I think we're already seeing the same shenanigans happening. And now they came out saying like, a lot of the swing states, the rest of us can get our stuff together and know who won on election night. But these swing states, for some reason, they're like, it's going to take 24 hours. Oh, just kidding, 48. Oh, and Maricopa County is upset, I think, 13 days after the election. So, the rest of the country's fine.
First place. I wouldn't vote for neither one of them in the first place.
Do you know what Miss Shannon said?
Trump supporters are not burning them boxes. Those are Democrats. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties. And 10 is a lawyer. 10 is a lawyer. He's a...
You're a liar. Go away.
At the end of the day, like,
That's right. 10 is a lawyer. And it's deranged Democrats burning their own boxes trying to blame it on...
if you want to be a coon and you want to goddamn be champion racism,
10 is a liar and it's Democrats burning these boxes. Stop spreading propaganda with your fake titles. You're a liar.
Careful.
Okay, welcome to All Communication with Hypnosis.
flowers of evil, the dance of death.
This steroid monster believed too much in his huge muscles and fully tattooed body. The cocky man was acting overconfident and arrogant. Unlike his very humble opponent, he also grabbed his opponent like a rat, humiliating the modest man in public. He walked to the fight as if it would be an easy walk. A cheeky smile never left the face of the tattoo master Draft, even in the cage. However, as soon as the fight started, Karma forced the insolent man to pay a cruel price. This steroid monster believed too much in his huge muscles and fully tattooed body. The cocky man was acting overconfident and arrogant. Unlike his very humble opponent, he also grabbed his opponent like a rat, humiliating the modest man in public. He walked to the fight as if it would be an easy walk. A cheeky smile never left the face of the tattoo master Draft, even in the cage. However, as soon as the fight started, Karma forced the insolent man to pay a cruel price.
This protective dog mama kept dragging her pup back to the den, suspicious of the kind human bearing food. But the determined little pupper, driven by hunger and an open heart, kept wiggling. This is why you always slow down and move over for emergency vehicles.
Good luck, they haven't done it for me. Go get him! Go get him! Didn't you sign your own warning?
Well, that truck is definitely getting a ticket and a call to court for breaking the law. This is why...
Bro. I'm not with that play, bro. You want to play with the little knife? Alright, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Just don't walk up on me, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, don't walk up on me, bro. Straight up. Yeah, don't walk up on me. Straight up. Yeah, you gonna have to use that motherfucker. Make you use that date, bro. I'm gonna make you use that date. Yeah, I'm gonna make you. Yeah, I'm gonna make you use that. Play with it. Play with it. Fuck. Get your goofy around here.
Just look at what he's doing. Everyone in attendance heard that smack. It's surprising to see the expression on Andre's face, who not only took hits before the fight, but also at the weigh-in. There, an undefeated countryman pretended to shoot him with his finger. What a clown. What else can be said? In the fight, though, Alex Walters seemed a bit lost, leading to dirty tricks in the clinch. The referees seemed to be on the side of this arrogant guy, punishing both fighters for Alex's actions. Andre looked at the referee and realized he had to take matters into his own hands. Then came the long-awaited knockdown. followed by a second one. Alex Walters, kneeling with a defeated look, still showed a glimmer of hope. But Andrei Mihailovich had endured too much humiliation and made the referee finally do his job. The most surprising thing amid all this was that Andrei went to thank him for the fight.
Just look, the dying stingray was trying to give birth on the shore. The woman saw it and gently squeezed the belly of the mother fish to help it give birth to the baby fish. She was worried that the baby fish would not survive well, so she took the baby fish home to take care of it. At this time, the baby fish was happily eating dried fish, but it seemed a little difficult. The baby fish would warmly welcome every guest. It always had a smile on its face. The little owner also liked to play with the little fish very much and gently stroked it. The little fish would carefully hide its favorite shell.
You're 7 feet tall, almost 500 pounds. You used to be a bouncer. Was any...
Motherfucker hit me in the head with the ball. I can't let that shit slide.
Look at this filthy rat.
Down and they both have considerate with the top. Whether it's a skyscraper or it's just the aborting service of God. So, you know,
Hell yeah, we in Saints' backyard, baby. We here. Hell yeah, we in Saints' backyard, baby. We here.
We plan to create 10.
Hell yeah, we in Saints.
I've been working way too hard. Got something to say about 717.
My husband is 63 years old, but...
Crazy. YouTube is like allowing pornographic advertising now. I don't even know if they're aware of it. I doubt they're even aware of it. It's like they changed the link destination. It's crazy. It's like some kind of scam or something. Because there's no like transaction at the end of it. It's just like a flash wave video. F-porn.
नहीं मैं इतने बार तो मैं नहीं दस सकता पर साथे तो जान वाले मेरे एक दो दोस्त गए थे तो वहाँ पे कहते जी डेयरी फार्मिंग का बड़ा काम है Are you from Russia? Sorry?
What is clown word?
What is groundwork?
I don't know, like, judging his character because he personally didn't cut the mic, I don't know. I would probably critique that view a little bit. But other than that, we agreed with you on all of that. Wrong place, wrong time, not a great decision. But remember also, I've said this a few times this morning, this wasn't a comedian who was hired by the Republican Party to do a comedy bit. This was a celebrity endorsement in a series of celebrity endorsements. So it's not as though they were like, oh yeah, let's get this racist comedian. It's like he was one of the celebrities coming out at this event to surprise people by endorsing Trump, and he did a bit that fell completely flat.
Yeah, but you know, when you plan in, listen, I plan in small events, right? I get projectors ready back early in my career just to have people have meetings, right? That was the beginning of my career. When we did stuff like that, we had to be careful of just even the littlest things. Like, make sure this is not plugged in. Make sure this is not right. If you're planning an event that big and you're in New York and we see this comedian, I'm sure it couldn't have been totally oblivious. Like, oh, he's going to speak? Do we really want that to happen? Because we know how he is. Like, even if you invite a bad cousin or relative over your house, you're aware of what that cousin or relative, how they speak and what they do. So you're like, did they really come over for Thanksgiving dinner? Because remember last time they did this and that and the third. Like that, I think that was a big oversight. Like they should have caught that. Was like, yo, this guy should not speak. He has an endorsement, but let's just let him know before he get on stage. No jokes. Come up, be serious. We're about this. If you do this, we're gonna crucify you. We're not gonna be, we're not gonna be held accountable for your comments and what you say and your statements and everything else. And they kind of just let that flow. Now, there was a mention of other things being said, right? Because I'm going to be honest, like every single conservative I know, including myself, we're talking about it and we're like, oh, it should be about this, it should be about that. You're right, it should be. But, I mean, the thing is that you cannot shake this from your head. And honestly, although I feel that Trump will win, the confidence that a lot of people have is not as high as it used to be before this comment was made, this joke was made. Since that joke has been made, people have seriously been thinking, could Kamala take it now? You know, could she take it now because of this comment and what has been made? Now, if he loses on a joke, I think it goes both ways. Foolishness goes both ways. All right, and I already explained that in the other room, but I'll say it again here, just really briefly. You should not be pushed emotionally to make a decision. You shouldn't. If you're going to vote for Trump on the basis of him doing a job and J.D. Vance doing a job, then vote based on who's able to do the job, not how you feel about them emotionally. You can vote for Trump and not like what they've done in the sense that was stupid, but, you need to do this and the third. And I think a lot of companies do that with their employees, especially if they're good. But I think what this has done is one of the things that I fear, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, that one of the things that I fear is that this is going to make people are, for some reason now, the election has gone off of policies and law and everything else. And what it's going towards now is emotions. He's a fascist, he's this, he's going to make, like, if you heard it before this joke was made, the push towards Trump was that, oh, he's going to have us arrested. He's going to get the military and round you up. He can round me up. He's going to take us and put us in jail and this, that, and the third. Of those, this fascist authoritarian like attitude that he's going to be locking people up and he's going to be ruling like Hitler. Like that was being spread. And then you have this joke where people are like, well, he made this comment, should he be president, this, that, and the third. I think both sides as a whole, from what I witnessed, and I understand the feelings here, But that's the problem. I think it's the decision is being geared towards feelings. It's being geared towards what I fear this man might do in this crazy scenario of locking people up. When the truth is, something was done. That was a misstep on Trump's campaign part to let that comedian say what he said. That was a misstep, right?
I agree. I do want to push back on Trump being racist, but yeah, Adrian, I know that you want to go.
No, I'm just gonna say, can we acknowledge that we live in a selective outrage society?
Yeah, we
that
can.
People cherry pick their outrages, and what they want to, they choose what they want to highlight. Because Vivek brought up a good point. He brought up a good point. Is that at Kamala's rally, George Lopez made a joke about Mexicans stealing, and no one said a peep.
George Lopez is Mexican.
So it makes it okay.
It's a completely different speed of a joke.
Really? Okay, cool. The guy that made the joke at the Trump rally, they know his style of comedy, right?
That's exactly my point.
Yeah, and they even highlighted a roast that he did.
With
Tom
Snoop
Brady. Excuse me?
With Snoop Dogg?
No. It was Tom Brady, who was there, Kevin Hart, a lot of other celebrities. He made Jewish jokes, black jokes, slave jokes, sexist jokes, misogynist jokes. I mean, he was going in. In fact, he has a podcast, which is within a top 100 podcasts.
Adrian, are you a Christian?
Who, me?
Yes.
I'm spiritual. I believe in a higher power.
Are you a Christian?
Call.
Yeah, so who wants to talk about muffins?
I agreed with. Oh, go ahead.
Before we move off the topic, I just say this. Now, I know you guys have heard me voice my opinions about U.S. treatment of Puerto Rico. It's because I care a lot about Puerto Rico. I want to someday return to live in Puerto Rico because that's where I was born. My roots are there, and we are a very proud people. If you notice, everywhere there's a Puerto Rican community, you're going to see the flag. You're going to know Puerto Ricans are around when you see the flag. People get offended by that flag. But let me tell you a little history about that flag. That flag was actually born in the United States. It wasn't born in Puerto Rico. It was born out of the Puerto Rican community in New York. Back in the time when in Puerto Rico, the U.S. outlawed the display of any Puerto Rican symbolism, flag, or any national hymns, anything that had to do with Puerto Rican independence or Puerto Rican anything. It was outlawed. So the New Yorkers, the Puerto Ricans that moved to New York, came up with this flag. They modeled it after the Cuban flag. That just reversed the colors. But it's a flag of resistance because the Puerto Ricans of Puerto Rico could not display the flag, but the New Yorkers, the Puerto Ricans of New York, they could. That's why we have a Puerto Rican parade today. In all Puerto Rican communities, there's a Puerto Rican parade. There was not even a Puerto Rican parade in Puerto Rico until this year. This year was the first year they celebrated a Puerto Rican parade on the island of Puerto Rico. So if you get tired of hearing me talk about it, I'm sorry. I don't mean to tire you guys about my complaints about U.S. treatment of Puerto Ricans. But there's a history, and it's not a very nice, pretty history, that today we are still under the effects. I say we because if they're suffering, I'm suffering too. Yeah, I live in the States, but if they're suffering, I'm suffering too. The history is not pretty, and so I'll just say, I'll leave it there.
I don't think anyone's tired of hearing about it. It's an issue that actually I didn't know existed until I met you. And so I'm very interested in it. I am like blood.
Wow, that's crazy.
Because Christians don't love people.
Look at your bio.
Why was you in Christian?
That don't mean shit. Oh, shit.
You're not a Christian though.
That don't mean shit.
That made a lot, bro. They take that shit serious, bro. Like, do you not
My
understand?
bio ain't got shit to do with my faith or my belief.
Hey, but in the end of the days, right? Like, keep it a buck, right? In the end of the days, the Christians gonna try to kill us, see? And like, if the world all the Christians would click up and try to kill us, bro. For real,
You crazy, dog. No Christians want to click up and kill you, man. That's just not how Christianity works, dog.
interrupting what we're trying to say. I'm not saying I'm not saying all Christians. I'm begging to kick that crack out. Hey, I'm not saying all Christians would attack us like that. I'm saying the idiot one, the stupid one, see? The fucking idiots. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, there are a lot of stupid Christians. I agree.
this is my live. I didn't even know this was my live. I ain't gonna lie to this.
Where you thought you was at?
Let me show y'all how they kick me out the room. Let me show y'all how they kick me out the room.
Oscar is the president of Clown Town, and I am the CEO. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatty.
Out of the night, call that no loud. You know they be actual. They want to talk about games.
This military asset, and they're going to raid New York. It's going to be illegal, right?
Right. I mean, if you were to study coup d'états in the world, right? The very first thing they do is invade whatever the Congress is, because you have to remove those people out of power.
No, man, they take the guns away, dog. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties.
Right? Once you absolve Congress, that's when you become a dictator. Now you need the military to do that. If you were to look at and study dictatorship, they put tanks on the step of Congress, and then they relieve those people of their duty. That's it. Once you got the military on your side, you don't need Congress. You don't need law. You don't need them to agree to anything. But in the United States, it's a little bit different because you have kind of like 50 little countries. New York might not agree, and then they might raise up the National Guard, right? Minnesota might raise up the National Guard. So now there's internal fighting. And that's why the U.S. is set up for us to not have dictatorship.
Don't look at dictatorship on the determination of whether or not they're just using the military inside the United States against the United States, even, right? Like,
ايه عشان يفوز وقحطاني
والله نسولف يعني هذا والله نسولف
اذا في خاطركم شيء قولوا فوز ليش يعني في ايش لا
والله يعني هذا نسولف انا ادري بها فوز
يرضى شوف والله
Afwan Habibti, look at Prince. Why does he have AR-15? Is he Muslim jihadist terrorist? He is a Jew hater and an anti-Semite. Shame on him. I hope he gets arrested and deported back to Syria where he belongs. He a terrorist. Look at him. He preparing to kill the Jews. He's an evil man who hates the Jews.
make report for him. He's terrorist.
أنا لما أجي أسمح البنات يسب بنات الخليج.
لا تعيدي لنا السالفه. الله يرحم والديك. خلاص حليناها وقلنا هذا الشيء ما صار. الله يرحم والديك.
طيب انتم
لا ما سألنا
أنا سألت عن الخلاف.
قلنا لك هذا الكلام ما صار والله يرحم والديك وقلتي عندي شهود وقلنا لك جيبي شهودك.
انت تحلف انك ساكت عنهم وما ترضى كلامهم وتدافع عنهم.
الموضوع هاي صار له
طيب لحظه، لا نهاد ما وجهت لي سؤال.
يا نهاد ما صار والله، يا نهاد ما صار. هاد بنت كنا نسولف وياها في موضوع السيارات، رقدت حلمت ان انا يا اسب بنات الخليج، اصبحت الصف صدقت حلمها.
خلاص يا
ما يصير يا نهاد الله
يرحمه. شوف شو قحطاني. شوف اقسم بالله انا بحلف. لا خلال انا انت
يا فوز لا تدخلينا في المواضيع هذه الله.
لا انا بقول لك حاجه. شوف انا بعطيك بقلب الصفحه واخلي صفحتك بيضاء، لكن المره الجايه لو القاك صاف مع بنات يسبنا ويشتمنا اعدك منهن.
لكن يفوز كثير من الخليجيين يصفون مع
منهن. يعني انت لو سكت، لا شوف لو سكت انا ما عندي
initiating war with China. So like a lot of people look at that and was like, what the fuck do you think?
كيف حالك حبيبي؟ Hello?
I understand that they can. Okay.
They vote in election chaos like they vote in elections too.
Yes, I understand that perspective, but if you look at like classic liberalism and how they like move, they're in the wrong profession, bro. If they are like liberals, they're in the wrong.
No, what I'm saying by that is that when I say liberal, it means like which party supporting the military-industrial complex and the initiatives that have been laid out for the global imprint. So
this is where I lose you guys, because you guys are like changing things to fit your narrative. Like I could pull out like multiple instances where the GOP supports the military-industrial complex, and it's been like, again, when you look at like most, I think what's that war that we went to? Iraq, yeah. If you look at the votes on party lines, you can see what party.
Yeah, but this isn't a party issue. The point I was making is Trump's a Republican, right?
I'm not done yet. So the perspective that you're like saying is that like, hey, this Democratic Party supports like the military-industrial complex, which I can like easily point out and say, hey, like the whole talking point that has been like politically approved or like passed through for decades is that like GOP has like a strong tie with the military. It's not like the veterans, the support for veterans is much more like if you look at if you were to align those data, like those would like align more towards the GOP versus the Democratic Party. And I think again, this is where like I'll push back. I think you're trying to like make something to fit your narrative, and it's not the actual.
Okay, so let's focus on a couple of things. So Donald Trump has designated these Republicans as rhinos and war hawks. Donald Trump's party categorizes Dick Cheney and his daughter and other Republicans as being war hawks. So that's what you're talking about, right? But the Democrats also have war hawks. So depending on who's more sympathetic as a war hawk, that's who the generals would adhere to as far as their views. Donald Trump wasn't a war hawk. That's the point I'm making. That's the reason why when Donald Trump was talking about withdrawing all these soldiers from all these areas abroad, the generals lied to them, right? Or lied to him. I'm not saying that there's not Republican war hawks. Obviously there are. They're called rhinos.
That's, oh my God, dude. You, like, again, you guys saying that the Republican Party is Trump's party. It's not. Trump is just like riding the Republican Party, and calling people rhinos who don't support Trump is just like another talking point, which I don't like agree with either.
Do you not see 74 million people voting for Trump? And do you not see all of these quote unquote war hawks on trial right now? Like the MAGA party, the new age JD Vances are all talking about withdrawing people that want us to fight in wars forever and a day. That's the new generation of Republicans right now.
There's definitely a new generation of Republicans that I agree with, but I'm talking about traditionally speaking. The people on political spectrums, if you were to like put them in like, hey, who's like pro-war and anti-war, that does not fit your narrative, and it doesn't like look good for one party.
What is my narrative, Caleb?
You understand? So you were saying
no, I didn't say one party against another.
Wait a second. This is what you do, man. You like say something, and then when I like
what?
Try to, like
I never said one party against it. I was specifically talking about January 6th.
January 6th. You're talking about like how the generals are democratic and they like are saying things that are like and you say that the Democratic Party, like the people who are like the generals who are Democrats are like supporting the war machine or like the military industrial complex. Like you just threw in a bunch of words and you're trying to string together. That's why I came and pushed back and said, hey, I think you're like.
So I gave an example of what was written in Millie's book. I also gave an example of what was written in.
Okay, welcome to Tarot. Nerd face. What a nerd. Zakrullah Osmani. كيف حالك حبيبي؟ Why do you want to talk to me in private room? You're already in the room, stupid. What the fuck is wrong with you, Zakarullah? Icky is here. Oh, my friend Mike. So what synchronicities have happened since yesterday?
Oh God, I've been going through an oscillation since we talked, right? Because you had kind of recentered me, and you know, by the help of I guess Baphomet or Lucifer when he came into the room, or the other fella, right, with the Baphomet icon. In any case, it had recentered me as a pan, right? And I was thinking, like, man, if you're, see, I know I did this wrong, right? Because I asked if you were in New York after LA, and you corrected me and told me somewhere else, but in my mind, you're still in New York. And so in the afterthoughts about yesterday, I was recentering myself as being Luciferian by default, because I had panish features
Luciferian
that were, you know, off the radar of all the Abrahamics, meaning they're tangential to, but they're not connected to. And so I was having a religious, you know, kind of like not Stone Malone, the Post Malone. Post Malone sings a song that I had to be upside down before I could turn around, right? But then he also sings a song about, because he needed somebody, you know, he's like holding up because he needs someone to take the blame, right? He's like he's trying to offload alibis or on-load alibis, something like that. And what, so I was just going through this fix, but because I felt relaxed and the things were congruous, I actually never did, because of the flux of the day, get to recording the painting going. And that's on my, it was a loading issue. It was a do I use StreamYard issue, and then it was events that took me out. I had to go care for folks and get stuff done. And so by the time I got back, I was overly haggard. But all I'm saying is that there was something kind of cool about the conversation yesterday as like a mythic extension within, but a more of a concretizing where I stood. Not to make things boring. Look how I cleaned out the room. Ike and Icky. Anyway, man, how's it going on your end?
Oh, I can't complain.
Same here. How y'all doing this morning?
Loop-de-loo.
Or Horizon.
Coffee. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Just, learning etymology and the origins of words,
Well, what's the origin of slapdim-diggity? I don't know how to look that up. So that's cool. That's cool that you're studying etymology.
Yeah. I'm not an atheist, nor am I religious. So I just think that we're in a hologram, and everything that is labeled due to the indoctrination, it's what we see today. I think we live in a white canvas. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Lucy with Scarlett Johansson and Morgan Freeman. That scene where she was in the college conference room with him, and then she just basically wiped everything off. I think that that's what we live in, if that makes sense.
I like that you're making an analogy, like a movie analogy to the concept of living in a matrix, but that you're using one, like you said, where she's just brushing stuff off, right? Like we're locked inside of this dogmatic belief as like the highest possible model to hold that keeps one neutral and almost subject to the influence of the matrix. And then it makes me wonder, like, is your matrix a test box? Is it a test program that you're in? And if so, how are you scoring on all the metrics, right? That's kind of where I come from. And then I thought, maybe I've been in the wrong part of the video game for like 15 years. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Well, there's only the eternal now, so, congratulations, you've freed yourself from an imaginary prison.
Yay!
Yeah, but it doesn't change my location. I'm still no closer to Ski Mountain.
I know, but no matter where you're at, you know what the one constant is? And I've found this by traveling.
You're the one that's there.
No, it's the sun. The sun, no matter where you go, is still the sun. It doesn't matter if you're in Antarctica or, South America. If you enjoy the sun, there are people who are sun worshipers. Do you know, hold on, I'll pull it. What's that famous comedian who was always silent? The fuck is his name? Hold on.
Cat Williams?
No, silent. They never spoke. Their whole comedy was pantomime or something. I was just reading it wrong.
Mr. Beans. I know you're talking
Basically,
about, right?
yeah, basically, it's the same shtick. It's the same shtick. But my point is, this one famous comedian, Harpo and Marx. Harpo.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guys from Las Vegas. The tall, fat guy, and then the short, little one. I know what you're talking about, right?
Maybe. I don't know. But Harpo was like a black, a 1920s, 30s or whatever actor. He never said anything. But the whole point is that's like the mystic journey is silence. but I saw a documentary about his life, and his daughter was like, my father was a sun worshiper. He just loved the sun. He was always wanted to be in the sun. And I myself like to be in the sun about an hour a day, and stretch. And I'll tell you, absorbing the light rays from the sun, they are most definitely magic, because if you want to feel healthy, get in the sun and stretch and breathe. Those three alchemical activities, breathing, stretching, and exposure to sunlight, is extremely useful for one's mood and for one's bodily health.
You know what's so funny that you said that? I was watching not a documentary. I'm actually trying to figure out the man's full name. His name starts with Alex, and he was talking about how that the sun is actually God, because God is light.
Yeah, and I was thinking that part of just that breathing routine, this Japanese guy, he was showing a way that he said he had learned through his culture to awaken the body, right? And it was to hit with the opposing hand underneath your on the inside of the opposing arm's bicep. You use your fingers and you slap up underneath there, and that is a specific chakra system. And then somebody else added and make certain that you breathe like two breaths in to one out, or maybe it was one out to two breaths in. But I'm hearing you, and I just when you said that though, I was thinking like that guy looks like this guy that shows up on these commercial ads that I've seen for people that do this like ground body fitness. Like they kind of, they don't use weights to strengthen themselves. They hover their body and do yogas, handstandings and those sort of exercises. And I was like, God, this guy, you remind me of that guy. But I know it's not you. But you remind me of him. And now you saying that made me think of that. And then Icky, I was getting all giddy because I was like, ooh, Icky's coming in with this openness towards not being religious, and then making an analogy away from the religion. But then I was arguing with someone. I said, how can you escape the context of the formalized religions, right? And that's what these discussions that place like pagan, I'll quote unquote pagan rituals as a formalism, right, as a necessary structure against or away from the Abrahamics, or in reflection from the Abrahamics. And I guess that's what I'm saying, is where the context of formal religion has a reflection into what it is that you say that you're not, right? It still, I don't know how the reflection can be blocked out entirely, from one's thoughts about religion and spirituality, and coming to the idea of a matrix with a wipe it all off the board. Anyway, the sun is consistent. See, fuck, man, I drove her out. Sorry, man. I gotta get this coffee in my system. I just bought nicotine tablets today online. I blame it on myself, but I was giddy.
Nicotine tablets.
Icky and love in the room. Yeah, I just bought these nicotine tablets. They're like, they're this very consistent distribution through the body. So what do you think of this? What do you think about the idea that humans should live natural, close to the land, right, in terms of their diets? But what do you think about using better chemistry to manipulate one's body? Like, do you believe people should use that? Oh, hey, Hermes. You guys can both answer, or neither answer, or whatever. I'll just throw that out there. Okay.
Good morning, y'all.
What's the question again? Should we live closer to the land?
Like there's a difference, kind of like living like the Amish sort of approach to natural living on the land naturally, right? Compared to
let's say yoga masters who use like ayahuasca and they manipulate their body's chemistry through diet and hyper breathing exercises. So the Amish, and then this like psychonautic bonding, living. Basically, I'm saying where you don't overtly try to manipulate your body's chemistry for a greater outcome, as opposed to those that want to overindulge in
Yeah,
supplementing
I
your
I
body.
think manipulating the body chemistry is essential to achieving higher states of consciousness and intelligence.
And what if from the religious line, like that would be a type of sinful activity? If let's say in Christendom, to step over the line where now you're in sin and you need redemption, right? You need redemption because now you've stepped over the line, because it's kind of that whole like the prohibition against marking one's skin or
I
defiling
get it.
the
Alan
body.
Alan Watts said, if you once you get the message, hang up the phone. So, if you're gonna keep indulging, I mean, that's on you. Apparently, you didn't get the message because, once you get the message, you don't need to keep destroying your body and making yourself, unhealthy. I mean, I drink and I smoke, so I know what I'm doing is, long term extremely destructive to my body. But short term, I'm enjoying it, and I'm also not just ingesting chemicals. I'm also ingesting new words and thoughts from masters. So I feel like what I'm doing can be rationalized, though may not be ethically or morally justified. So
I see. Well, and when I said nicotine, and like it was somebody, my sister-in-law was a nurse, said, look, there is a prescription level dose of nicotine. I'm like, what does that mean? A prescription? You mean like pure chemistry? Is that what you mean by pure?
you
Or
know,
is it
do you
different
smoke
sort of?
cigarettes?
I used to, but only in like a couple low level through my 20s and 30s, and then I was off, and then there was tragedy, and so then I went through like a 2-year stint, and then it kind of pittered out, and then I don't smoke them anymore. I haven't smoked them in
So,
a
but
couple years,
but you
except
want a
for
stimulant, right, to like help you be more
yeah,
active?
just a non-inhalant things. I think because I've smoked so much in my life that I thought, even when I do smoke a cigarette, like my uncle died and my nephew died in 2 different incidences, and so I was smoking at both of those, but only a cigarette with those who wanted to smoke with me. And
Well, I mean, it sounds to me like you need to. Are you doing any breathing exercises?
I mean, no, I'm not, but I mean, that's what, see, here you're coming in back, right? I should be doing breathing. Yeah, the two in the, no, I'm not, I know of them, but I don't exercise them, which is so weird because I got this gym membership at Planet Fitness around the corner. And I go up there every now and again, and I need to do it, but whenever I go in there, all the machines have the word matrix written on it. And then I'm like, if I'm in a matrix, what the hell am I doing at the gym? I can just breathe.
Yeah, but it's not. The expression in Stoicism is what you carry with you into the gym is what most likely you're going to carry with you out of the gym. But the thing is, it's a numbers game and it's a question of physics. Because, like yesterday, I went to the gym, I did, 10 reps of 60 pounds. That's 600 pounds I just moved. So that energy potential that you create when you lift the weights and then you go to sleep, I mean, there is an after effect to all of the weightlifting. And your body, that stress you put on it, causes the immune system to do, repair to the structure. So
You do 600 pounds, 10 reps? Is that
no,
what
no,
you said?
no. 10,
No.
10 reps, 60 pounds. That's
Oh, 60 pounds.
it's 600 pounds of movement. And when you do 30 different, machines, you're walking out of there and you just move tens of thousands of pounds. Think about that. There is an equal and opposite reaction to every action.
But get a load of this, because I was thinking about this, right? Because I don't have any kids. I wanted kids. Things got fucked up several times. I have 2 abortions.
One's in fifth grade, one's in seventh. They're the size of raisins. They sit next to the apple on the teacher's desk. They're very precocious, right? They're always asking questions. And but I don't have any kids, right? But then I was thinking of me being in New York, me when I was smoking, right? You knowing that what you're doing has a future negative consequence that may be like mega detrimental, but you're willing to sacrifice that for the moment because the moment is something that you're enjoying.
Yeah.
But then I was just immediately thinking, even if you're moving all of that weight and you're a smoker, assuming you're a cigarette smoker, right? Maybe you're a joint smoker, a bowl smoker, whatever, but you're a smoker, right? That the act of smoking itself is a type of like making yourself, like using dragon energy, like fire inside energy to be the motivation to do breathing exercises, to push outward from oneself, to be bold. Just a thought. But I used to think that too when I went. See how you got rid of that other guy? Didn't include him.
No, I know Hermes. He pops in. He doesn't really ever have anything too interesting to talk about other than his putas.
Oh, okay. Well, I
He likes this stuff. He's big into aliens, and I don't know, he's big into all kinds of stupid stuff. I respect people that read books, not people who just like use their imaginations to come up with, fantastical theories. I mean, I think that a lot of this tarot stuff is the study of glyphs being, pictorial symbols, and the Egyptians. Have you ever read the Egypt?
ruins.
Yeah.
Ruins compared to glyphs.
Oh well, yesterday you kept using the word not. It has the word art in it. Artifacts.
Oh yeah, artifact. Like a leftover remnant, like an archaeological dig.
Yeah, archaeology.
An
Yeah.
artifact, or anything that has like it's the part of the purpose of it is also its aesthetics, right? Meaning that it's designed, it's a fashionable human object, and therefore it's an artifact, and or it's an expressive utility, like in glyphs as a language function, right? The beauty of the matter might be secondary to this is how we're writing out the meaning, and we're presenting it for the whole of all of our population in ancient Egypt to read on the wall, like a way to make your population literate. And to me, the pyramids, because it was stripped, right? It's under question whether or not the pyramids had glyphs written on the outer limestone that would have gone up the whole pyramid, right? Perhaps even getting larger as they went up, the glyphs, the signs, right? Such that all of those around Giza that got to observe the pyramids, like all the other temples, that glyphs up the wazoo from Edfu to Luxor and Sobek, which is this lizard god with this minor temple that is on this small island in the Nile, and that is where the lizard god has an ancient temple, the temple of Sobek. And I found that one the most fascinating because it was close to where Agatha Christie wrote, like, Murder on the Nile. I think that's it, Murder on the Nile. I saw the movie. In any case, and so it had this like Americana mystery story right next to this thing that I had never heard about, like this lizard god. But I just remember like thinking about how all the hieroglyphs, the glyphs were the way that they were, but how the way in order to interpret Egyptian was that a cartouche, a circle around a glyph, normally an oval around a glyph, has a special title meaning to it. You're starting, it's almost like a paragraph or something to that extent, or more like a title, like
the king of, or the person of, or this group's leader, or this god Thoth, and as being the the scribe, right? And just in any of it and all of it, like there was so much more data there than I could apprehend. But in any case, so you're actually supposed to read like an owl and like a feather next to each other, not because it's an owl in symbol, but because of how you would pronounce the word owl. So the pronunciation would be like alchemical, right? And so if the next thing was like a chemical, like a beaker, right, it'd be like alchemical. And so it would be about the sound of the phonic was what the glyph meant. And so I was just thinking like about primitive language forms and what I was trying to tell you about the Piraha. Anyway, but and I appreciate you listening, and bouncing stuff back. And so what I'm doing also by interacting with you and moving, because somebody said, I come to realize like I'm attempting to relegate and delegate, like relegate the topic and delegate this. Delegate the topic and relegate the avenue of discourse within the topic. I don't know if I like that about myself. It seems snooty, or it's like something that seems like I guess I'm not trying to. I think I'm just warning myself against feeling like I'm arrogant about what it is that I'm talking about, right? Like I know something you don't know, and I'm not trying to come off like that. I'm just trying to say, like, because you obviously have these knowledges, but what I was trying to say was, it's almost like I'm trying to walk you down the path of me answering the question of what had happened, your first question. So tell me what's changed since yesterday.
The thing is, it's set. All we're doing is studying. So, I like the expression that where 2 or 3 people are gathered, that is the presence of the Holy One. So it takes 2 to tango. And, talking about archaeology, it's like, imagine if you never heard about Jesus Christ, or imagine if you never knew anything about the Egyptians, and you were just digging in your backyard and you found a silver cross from, the year 200, but you didn't have any backstory, and so then you started thinking, well, what were the people thinking who made this? Like, what does this symbol mean? And you can ask a lot of Christians, what does the cross mean? And you'll hear a lot of different answers. But what were the people thinking who made that? So, that glyph, that symbol, that concept of the cross, what is it? What I read is the horizontal is the woman, the vertical is the man. And obviously, if it's a vertical, it's like a phallus. So it's energy. And then the woman, is the horizon. And the horizon is a Japanese word. I don't know what the actual translation is, other than maybe like, dividing point or something like that. Who knows? But the point is, I'm interested in occult symbolism and trying to integrate that into my consciousness and psychology. And just yesterday, having this conversation with you was great. Ishmael is a friend of mine who, has interesting and funny things to say. He's very funny.
Hey, you know what I was going to ask you? Do you actually do tarot readings?
Yeah, I can, I would say that instead of doing a tarot reading, you just listen to me read a book about tarot. It's more valuable than actually doing a tarot reading.
At 11:30, I'm going to talk to a psychic on the phone for $50.
Wow, are they paying you?
I'm paying them $50.
Oh no, that's the wrong way to do that deal.
Well, I want to do it at least once. I've never done it. I'm going to do it one time. I've never done it.
Well, it's like talking to a therapist. Just be open, tell them whatever you're thinking, and then, don't worry about them like recording you, but just know that you will get the catharsis if you are actually honest about what you're thinking and feeling.
But she said she was going to give me a psychic reading with no information and just read my energy and tell me information.
Oh man.
Good luck. Waste of your time.
I think you should trust the ones that charge about $5 for a 5-minute read on that. Just saying, in terms of not that I'm
That doesn't
giving
include
advice,
tip either.
Always try to give them a tip. Wink, wink. Best of luck. Best of luck on that.
Ishmael, I got a better. I went to a whorehouse once, and
I've never done that either.
and this was the craziest thing. Is I had a friend came in from out of town, and he immediately found the nearest whorehouse. I was like, how the fuck? So, anyways, it was a chiropractor's office. You go in, and this like Chinese madam comes out, and she says, "How can I help you?" And then my friend's like, "Yeah, we're here for the full service." She's like, "Okay, have a seat." So so this beautiful girl who looked like a cartoon walks out and escorts me to another room with like a massage table. And she says, "What you want?" And I was like, "Full service." And she goes, "Okay, how much you pay?" I'm like, $200. She comes back. She says, "Mama say $200. Okay." So I proceeded to bang this incredibly hot Asian cartoon looking, sex trafficked woman. And so I give her the $200. I go and I wait in the lobby for my friend who I think is finishing up. And then I say to and after just like the 2 minutes or so, I go, "You know what? Waiting here is stupid. And, who knows if my friend is even here." So I go outside and I see my friend down the end of the street. I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "What do you mean, what am I doing here? I told these bitches I had to go to the ATM." I said, and I was like, you didn't pay them?" He goes, "Oh, fuck that slut." It's like, you are fucking hilarious.
Wow.
That is.
There you go. There you have it.
Well, and do you think she was self-trafficking? Like you say, she's trafficked, but she's probably got in the vehicle herself. Like, I need to make lots of money. And
Yeah, she's part of an organization. Yeah. She came from overseas. I'm sure she was trafficked. But meaning that, like, she's okay with the trafficking because it's the greatest deal she's ever had. She's whoring around in Beverly Hills. You think it gets any better than that?
That her mom wasn't her real mother, is what you're saying?
No, hell no. She was the madam. She was probably, the head or an employee of a criminal organization.
I've read a lot about those places, but I have never visited.
Yeah, I mean, when we were going on about art galleries being like money laundering businesses on the high end, because who would pay that on the front end for something like that, right? For some of these, people that are trending in the art world, and but you'd look at it and go, "Why the hell is that going for that amount?" Like, that's your first
Ishmael,
instinct.
my sister used to work at California Psychics, and she was they would bill $200,000 a day in credit cards. That's just credit cards through telephones, and then there's online purchases for psychic minutes. And it's these two Jewish guys that live in Beverly Hills. I met them. My sister worked for them for a lot of years, and they just fucking make a ton of money off of California Psychics. And then they have some kind of therapy thing. And so my sister would get all these free credits, and I would call up and do psychic readings. And I found it to be very cathartic, meaning that I would just let loose and tell them how depressed I was and sad I was and heartbroken I was and all this bullshit. And then she gave me good advice, and then I went on my way, and it was fine. But then I started my own psychic reading service called freepsychicreading.today, and I started having all these black women calling me up wanting free psychic readings. And so I would do psychic readings with them and then publish the psychic readings on YouTube, and my friends...
You are a genius. I mean, this is genius.
My friends were watching it, and I would give the funniest advice to these black women who are heartbroken. And like 99% of all psychic reading questions are about relationships, love. It's always about heartache. It's never about money. It's never about health. Everybody wants love advice.
You should be like, my psychic reading is you should wash your back.
Wash it or watch it?
No, what you do is you tell these women, if you want to increase intimacy in future relationships, you got to wash your man's back. Ishmael and I were in a room listening to some clown house people, and they were screaming about washing each other's back or something. We just thought it was so ridiculous.
I told you that I had a therapy service when I was 24, that I was a therapist. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
It was called Revolution Analysis. But it was Revel, Revel.
Nice.
Like to revel in your joy or whatever. And my ulterior motivation was to convince everybody who came to see me, and actually only one person came to see me for therapy, but one person paid me. I think he paid me like $25 an hour. He was older than me. I was 24 at the time. He was probably 34. And he paid me for therapy, where I spent the therapy session trying to convince him that civilization was unsustainable and that was the root cause of all of his problems.
Wait a minute, you invented Clown House before Clown House was ever even invented.
I mean, I did the same thing as you. You had psychictoday.com or whatever.
I wrote a book called How to Turn Your Peanut into a Donkey Lick, and I put that on Amazon. And I was hustling that.
That's a great one.
But then I ended up deleting it, but the title's still up there. So I don't know if I want that on my resume. And then I'm like, man, I should have kept that on my resume.
Well, hello, my children. Happy day to you all. It is I, Lucifer, coming to say I love you all. Welcome to my circus.
And Lewis and Gilbert on the mean guitar.
Yeah, have you ever been in a band, Lucifer? Are you like a lead singer?
I am. Yeah, dude. I'm putting together a rock band. You want to be in it? Do you play an instrument?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of instruments.
Oh, excellent, dude. So, what do you play?
A lot of flutes, trumpets, and guitars.
Yeah,
he did some band
trumpet player. Wait, what about you? You play like what better band of all of us get together, all of these different shades of fucking awesomeness, and create a band, and we just play with like the gods, just rock the fuck out, bro. The alien fucking rock stars.
Have you seen like a composite, like on a Zoom or something, of people, doing like an orchestra through Zoom? I've never seen that yet.
I have not. That would an orchestra through Zoom? Interesting. Why would we do an orchestra through Zoom, dude? Let's do a world tour.
If you did it on person, right? Then some bands, they like to run up and hug each other after, and other ones are like they'll high five, they'll raise their hands and hold it up like they're on a chorus line in front of the audience. And then some people like me, right? Like when last time I got into what I would consider a Luciferian sort of almost band, when we were just in the we practiced a lot, and we were about ready to set out. The motherfucker decides he wants to give me like a little love tap underneath the jaw. Right?
What?
And and when I say that, I mean that literally, a little love tap, just kind of like a 1 pounder, maybe force, right? And it was but it was like in a way an exercise of dominance, because I think I told him, I said, look, you can manage the band however you want, right? And I think the guy then was trying to make it, like he kept saying, if he'd get upset, he'd say, suck my dick, everything was about sucking his dick, and I should have known this beforehand. But I think the guy was trying to dominate using like the musicals, the sexuality that comes along with a band, right, of what music can do, the sensuality, right? He was just overflating it, and it almost appeared like he was trying to, and maybe it was because he had short guy syndrome or something, like hit me, to try to, and I have a couple, I don't run very quickly because I got surgically rebuilt ankles, right? But the guy did it when we're in our vans. We're down in Quartzsite, Arizona, and we're getting ready to head east.
Was there cocaine involved?
No, it wasn't even. Well, fuck me. I mean, I'm not going to speak on his behalf, right?
He probably was high as shit.
Well, I don't believe he was, but he was definitely, like he was actually trying to filter his system from any sort of intoxicants, including smoke. He was just had such a long relationship with tobacco his whole life, let alone all the joints, right? All those joints. Anyway, and so I think he was sober, but that our trio, because he and this other street artist from Los Angeles before he moved to New York, before